Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you how to take off an SISL crank arm without having to give Cannondale $50 for those two stupid little bolts that they want you to buy in order to take off those crank arms. Okay, Cannondale would have you buy those $50 parts, but all you really need is the Park Tool CCP-22 crank arm remover, and bear in mind that any description will tell you this is not necessarily compatible with the Cannondale crank arm. Matter of fact, it won't even say that it is. You need this and you need this. A 1/2 inch aluminum steel rod of any kind will work perfectly fine. And you notice I have this little nub on the end. You don't have to have that. This could be simply like this. All we're doing is we're sliding this in the crank arm spindle so that it presses up against the opposite crank arm nut. And then we're using this as we turn this as it's threaded into the crank arm. It will push against this rod and cause the crank arm to pop off. It's very simple. Now the reason that there's a nub here is because this actually fits in the hole of the crank arm nut. And basically this will help to align it when you put this inside the crank arm spindle shaft. The other added advantage is that because this is flush with the outside edge, when you're done, you can just use your finger to push this and it will cause the other end to pop out so you can grab it and pull it out real easily. If it was just in there flush, the problem is you'd have to get something in there to push the rod out. Not a big deal. Again, for simplicity's sake, you could simply buy a 1/2 inch rod. It'll do the exact same thing. But if you can, get one with a nub here or machine it with a nub like I did. It just makes this tool a little bit easier to use. Again, not a big deal. Okay, to start with, obviously you got to get off this, which is a get off the crank arm nut, and this is a 10 millimeter socket, or Allen key I mean. So basically just back this thing off. I've already obviously loosened it. So we basically just stick this in here until it goes all the way in. Notice it's flush in there. We take the crank arm removal tool, loosen it up, and just thread it in. And then we just spin this to press against that bolt, which will cause this arm to force off this way. And that's it. Remove this. This comes right off. And then we just press out with our finger from the hole. What I'm doing is I'm pressing it on the hole on the other side to push this forward just slightly. And then we take it back out. It's really that simple. That's all you need to have. Just these two parts. And it becomes very easy to pop off these SISL or SISL2 or SI crank arms.